with a little help from members of the 1960 World Championship team. Their presence may have helped the Bucks look to the future and what could be an exciting run to the finish. Today they turn to Charlie Morton to keep the good times rolling as they look for a sweep on Route 4.
They are lined up for this one on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon on the North Shore. The Pirates and the Colorado Rockies playing Game 3 of this three-game set. The Bucks looking for a sweep. Look at the National League Central Division standings. Cardinals still 3.5 games in front of the Pirates. The Pirates could win their 80th game of the season before the calendar turns to September. And hi again, everybody, along with Bob Walk. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Smikowski joins us shortly. Aramis Ramirez had the big swing of the ball game last night, a 3-run homer, and it was good to see him get one here at PNC Park.
It sure was. You know, and we know from going all the way back to when Aramis first got up here as a teenager, as a matter of fact, he's always been good with the RBIs. We've seen it against us all these years with the Cubs and the Brewers. And now that we've picked him up right here for the pennant stretch, he's doing the same thing. He's become an RBI machine for us, and he got the 3 big ones for us last night.
Deserving of a ticker tape parade in the dugout, too. 46 home runs at PNC Park. Today, the pitching matchup looks like this. Left-hander Jorge De La Rosa for the Rockies taking on Charlie Morton. De La Rosa suffered a loss his last time out. Charlie's been good at home, 5-1 in 8 starts.
Well, De La Rosa is certainly a quality pitcher. He's been one of the best pitchers that the Rockies have had for quite some time now. He has never won a game here, though, in Pittsburgh. So he's going to try and stop that today. It'll be Charlie Morton on the other side of the coin trying to prevent it. I'd like to see Charlie get a lot of ground balls early in this ball game.
Charlie Morton, Jorge De La Rosa, the pitching matchup on this Kids Day Sunday afternoon. Pitch and grip baseballs is what they have today. Certainly they want to learn how to throw strikes just like the Pirates. The Bucks and Rocks coming up.
Talk Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
Getting ready for this one is, well, somebody's going to be walking the plank pretty soon. Probably the loser. Pirates getting ready for their pregame ritual.
No dance yet.
Looks like they're just warming up.
They haven't started the music yet. It's got to be first. Get everybody in the mode. Get them moving around.
Well, capacity crowd expected again at PNC Park for the third and final game of this series with the Colorado Rockies. Pirates looking for a 3-game sweep. 21-4 against the National League West this year. Pirates having a terrific month too. 19-7. They could have 20 wins this month with a win today and look for their 80th victory before September begins. Start the day 30 games over 500.
It's the kind of baseball you have to play when you're trying to run somebody down at the end of the season, like they're doing with the Cardinals. It gets beyond trying to win series and that sort of thing. It's just win every day now. You know, a lot of times, saying, hey, we won 2 out of 3. Well, at this point of the year, big deal. So are the Cardinals. They're winning 2 out of 3 also. You got to go out there and you got to win every day, every night. That's the goal, and you can't look at it as a series anymore.
Ramos Ramirez with a big home run in the game last night. Gave the Pirates a 3-0 lead at that point. 377 career home runs as a third baseman. That's 5th all time among Major League third basemen.
What a tremendous career Ramos has had, and still going strong.
He wants to finish strong, that is for certain. Andrew McCutchen making a new friend out in center field. Walt Weiss, the manager of the Rockies, wrote up his lineup card earlier today. This is what it looks like. Charlie Blackmon leading off, playing center field. DJ LeMahieu second. Carlos Gonzalez in the third spot. 5 for 15 with a double and a homer against Charlie Morton. No other Arenado than Ben Paulson. Kyle Parker in left. Angelo Descalso gets the start at shortstop today. Dustin Garneau behind the plate. And Jorge De La Rosa, the left-hander, doing the pitching and batting 9.
Let's take a look at Charlie's numbers on the year. They're brought to you by Hyundai. Getting ready to make his 18th start. He's just broken 100 innings on the season. He's still got plenty of gas in the tank. They're doing some awfully good work this year with the curveball. That's been a great hit for him. But one of the things I think I'd really like him to go to today, especially early, is to establish that sinker, get some ground ball outs. That's kind of what didn't happen in his last start. Really was relying on that good curveball. His curveball later in the game started to flatten out a little bit, didn't have the good bite to it. And because of that, couldn't get the ground balls. Hadn't established that pitch, the fastball, and ball started getting hit hard on him.
Defensively today for the Pirates, in the outfield, left to right, Marte, McCutchen, and Polacco. And at first base today, Michael Moore is the right-handed batter, gets the start against Jorge De La Rosa. Josh Harrison at second, Jordy Mercer at short, and Ramirez over at third. Cervelli back behind the plate, catching the day game after the night game. Morse came up with a big pinch hit last night in the 7th inning, led to the insurance run the Pirates ultimately needed. A 4-3 win. So Charlie ready to put his Uncle Charlie on display once again, as he has thrown a devastating curveball in recent starts. Charlie getting set to face Charlie Blackmon. This ball game now underway. Blackmon takes a strike. .287 for Blackmon. And he lifts this one up in the air, third base side. Ramirez calling for it. That's the first out of the game. one down for Colorado. We take a look at our Rivers Casino tips to win for today.
Oh, I already talked about Charlie and the fastball. I can get that established here first couple innings of the ball game, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the scramble in the bullpen. No scrambled eggs today, but the bullpen is scrambled up
a little bit.
And who's going to pitch the 8th or the 9th? We know it won't be Watson or Melanson. Who will it be?
Mayhew takes a strike. Clint Hurdle was joking with me earlier today. He said, we've already sent Watson and Melanson ahead to Milwaukee just to avoid the temptation of using them. They really haven't gone there. They're here. He was making his point that they were unavailable today. One pitch. And the breaking ball misses. You'd have to think in a safe situation, Soria would get the opportunity. Two ball, one strike pitch. Fouled off, and it's 2-2.
Heck, the way Blanton's been pitching this year might give Blanton the opportunity.
That 4-1-2 shirt.
4-1-2, that's right.
You've been looking for a shirt like that, but with your area code. This is what we did the other night. And this one has Bob Watt's name all over it. Ground ball to second base. And J-Hay throws him out. And so, see what happens? See the power of social media?
That's right.
It's just that easy right there. He's got the 724 shirt.
Thank you very much. 724, we live on the edge.
or the north. Or the other. Looks good on you, Bob.
I'm going to wear this one with a lot of pride.
Yeah. Size is good, right?
Yeah.
He asked me for the size. I had to give it to him.
The biggest they can make. Get over my ample frame.
Just got you an extra medium. That's what we got you. 2 outs and Carlos Gonzalez will take inside for a ball. Saw a bunch of those 4-1-2 shirts in Miami, and
yeah, they were all over the place.
See them everywhere now. Now we're going to see some more 724s.
I hope so. That's part of the game.
2-0 to Gonzalez. Then 5 for 15 against Morton. What a second half to the season he has had. Since the All-Star break, Carlos Gonzalez has had 18 home runs, including one here Friday in Game 1. He is tied for the National League lead in homers with Bryce Harper of the Nationals, 31. 3 balls and a strike.
An excellent offensive team the Rockies have, especially against right-handed pitching. Left-handers give them a little bit of a problem. They don't have a very good record against lefties, but they can hit the right-handers just fine, better than just fine.
5 and 23 against left-handed starters are the Rockies. 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. He got him on the inside corner. Charlie Morton retiring the side in order. We head to the bottom of the first. Here in Pittsburgh, no score. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Gregory Polanco will lead off as we look at our Toyota starting lineup. Polanco, and then Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen third, Ramirez in the cleanup spot, Francisco Cervelli fifth, Michael Morse will bat sixth, Josh Harrison seventh, Jordy Mercer hitting right before the pitcher Charlie Morton. Morton will look for his second hit of the season here today, facing Rockies left-hander Jorge De La Rosa.
You see De La Rosa's numbers for the season. The ERA may be tainted a little bit because of where he throws his home games. Mile high, or no, not mile high, but at a mile high. The Coors Field. So they still give up a lot of runs there, even though they've tried to kind of deaden the baseball a little bit over the years. Still a tough place to pitch. De La Rosa spending so much time there and doing so well. You got to tip your hat to him.
Daniel Descalso will get the start at shortstop today instead of Jose Reyes. LeMahieu, Paulson, and Arenado, the other infielders, with Dustin Garneau doing the catch and Kyle Parker back in there playing left field. Charlie Blackmon at center and Carlos Gonzalez in right. That's the Colorado defense. Saw plenty of Descalso, and he was in another uniform in the division with St. Louis. So the Pirates ready to go in the bottom of the first inning. Polanco up. Facing 34-year-old Jorge De La Rosa out of Monterrey, Mexico. And the first pitch in for a strike. When you look at De La Rosa, though, Bob, he's 7-6. He's got a winning record on a losing ball club. And
it's a good pitcher.
He's learned how to deal with the altitude, too. He's actually given up more home runs on the road than he has at home. And you'd think that'd be the opposite based on where he pitches.
Yeah, you would definitely think that.
53 home runs in his career on the road, 51 at home. 0-2 pitch. 1-2 now to Polanco. Polanco ended up driving in the game-winning run last night with a ground ball out in the seventh. A 4-3 win. Pirates a major league best 29-15 in one-run games. Last time the Pirates finished with the best record in one-run games was 1958. They went 30-19. Tom Hurdle's club doing some great things this year, and you look at what a number of guys have done and what this team is doing a lot of things that haven't been done in a long time. Polanco checked his swing, did not check it, says Corey Blazer, and Polanco is rung up on appeal, and there's one out.
He chased that little breaking ball off the plate. Just got the bat out there enough, not much, but Blazer figuring that his intent was to swing, so bring him up on that.
Marte batting .282. Starling didn't start last night, but came in and finished the game. Takes in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, behind the plate. Laz Diaz at first. Chris Guccione up at second. Corey Blazer, you saw him down at third. 1-0 pitch. Down to third base. Arenado backs up and throws in time to get Marte. 2 men out. The Pirates after the first.
Sometimes we're getting a little habit of doing that against left-handed pitching. We get a little pull happy. Don't know if that's going to happen in this ball game, but we start kind of just playing a little game with the third baseman and the shortstop. A lot of ground balls to those guys with lefties on the mound. We've fallen into that trap, especially if they're left-handers that aren't really hard throwers and they're a little more on the crafty side. It pays off to try and take those guys back through the middle of the field.
The Rockies playing McCutchen to pull with 3 infielders on the left. 1
ball, 1 strike now to Kutch. Andrew 2 for 4 last night with a run scored, a pair of singles. This is batting average up over 300 and hopes to climb it. It's at 305. And he's got himself a base hit.
It'll keep climbing now. Go up another couple points with that hit.
Nice look at the swing on the Allegheny Health Network Super Mall.
You can see his weight start to shift to that front foot just as he started his swing.
McCutchen aboard for Ramirez, and the Rockies playing him to pull as well. And the entire right side of the infield wide open with first baseman Paulson holding Kutch on. So McCutchen at first base, average up to 307. 247 for Aramis Ramirez. 1 ball, 1 strike. De La Rosa, the Rockies' all-time win leader. He has 73. He's also their franchise's strikeout leader. Pulled just foul. And it's 1-2 to Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez 8th all-time in Pirates history in games played at third base. 573rd game today. Next on the list, Jeff King, 582. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Ramirez, after the home run last night, trying to drive in some more here today. 2-2 count. Fouls it back. Pirates will have the day off tomorrow. It'll be a travel day, actually, to Milwaukee. Start a series Tuesday night with the Brewers. Clint Hurdle making an adjustment of the pitching rotation, using the day off to his advantage, he thinks. So moving Jeff Locke's spot behind Garrett Cole. This one down to third, foul. Cole will start the opener of the road trip Tuesday night, which means he'll also pitch against the Cardinals on Sunday Night Baseball. And Jeff Locke will start on Wednesday night, the second game, with Francisco Liriano after that. Those will be the first 3 starters of the next series. 2-2 pitch. This one's popped up and might not be playable. Oh, falls in the Bermuda Triangle, and Gonzalez unable to get to it.
That was close to maybe being a run. Yeah, the balls that go up down that line because of the spin, they're going to be working their way back toward fair territory. Almost came back far enough. Kutch has to come all the way back, retouch. Might take his lead.
And McCutchen's reached first base in the first inning 6 straight games. 5 via hit, 1 time via walk. And now McCutchen will get a head start on a 3-2 pitch coming to Ramirez. Paulson holding him on. De La Rosa now into the stretch. Payoff pitch. It is looped into shallow left field. Coming on Kyle Parker. He'll make the catch. Pirates will strand one. They get a hit. And after one full, no score at PNC Park.
Event will take place after the game. Pirates president Frank Coonelly and his wife Debbie, along with GM Neil Huntington and his wife Beckett, taking part in the Red, White, and Brew Challenge that's held every year. And after that, with all the proceeds for these events going to livelikeblue.org and the ALS Association, the Ice Bucket Challenge is back. We have a very hot day today, and a lot of people who took part in the Root Sports and Pirates Charities on Root Sports auction a couple months ago will have the Ice Bucket Challenge, and the water will be dumped on them by Pirates players and coaches. A lot of people took part in it, along with Pirates president Frank Coonelly. So, Tim, make sure you stand by. We're going to do it all live on television after the game when Pirates postgame begins.
First ball swinging, Nolan Arenado. Jay Hay throws him out. One pitch, one out for Charlie in the top of the second inning. Josh also having a fundraiser tonight here in town.
Get them ground balls. That's what we like to see from Chuck. He set the tone early with that. I think when he really does that, it gets those guys pound the ball into the ground. That's when that curveball of his even plays better. Got to have them both.
Right-handed hitters have a ground ball rate against Charlie of 63.5%, probably 64% now after that. League average is 47.5%. Nothing in two to Paulson. This one fouled down the third base side.
Nice play down on the one hopper.
Yeah. Broken bat roller. And Charlie there to take care of it on the toss for Michael Morse. Another ground ball out, two men gone. Download the MLB.com ballpark app on your mobile phone and check in next time you're at PNC Park. This free app personalizes your PNC Park experience with check-in offers, rewards, social media, and exclusive team content. Download the ballpark app with Google Play or the App Store on your iPhone or Android. Two outs. Left fielder Kyle Parker standing in. Takes one just below the knees for a ball, 1-0. Parker started Friday night in left, went 0 for 2 with a walk. Hitting just 197 on the season. There's another ground ball. And Harrison throws him out.
Really set the tone with the fastballs in that inning. Great job.
Took Charlie 7 pitches to retire the side in the second. heart of college football, and you can get the latest on your favorite teams during Press Conference Tuesdays. First at 1, hear from new Pitt head football coach Pat Narduzzi as he talks about his 2015 Panthers team. And at 1:30, it's Dana Holgerson's turn to talk Mountaineer football. Press Conference Tuesday. Tuesday starting at 1 on Root Sports. That time of year. De La Rosa pitching to Cervelli to start the Pirates half of the second inning. Ball 1. Games this week in college football. You believe that?
Yeah, it's here.
Man. Always makes for a nice distraction in September.
NFL coming up real soon. That time of year already. This month has been incredible weather-wise. I mean, summer is still in perfect stride, though.
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
It doesn't feel like fall is near yet.
It might.
Maybe the best August we've had in a long time now. Very little rain, just beautiful sunshine every day. Not all that humid. Today's a little warm.
Well, you get the feeling that fall might not sneak up on us. It might arrive abruptly. Just have that feeling, which is okay.
Well, I love the fall. That's my favorite weather. It's fall weather. Cools off. Wear a little flannel shirt or something. Go out in the morning, have a cup of coffee outside, cool air.
Think about all the work you're not going to do.
Yeah, because it's like, it's a little cool out here.
Ooh, check swing, foul ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Francisco Cervelli. Starting to notice some leaves on the ground already. I don't know. That's a bad subject. Gotta pick him up.
That's the one bad thing.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Cervelli goes down on strikes. 1 gone in the Pirate half of the second inning. And we want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag #PittDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. We'll show you a picture later today. And on Twitter, use the hashtag #PittDataStrongFan. See what we come up with today. That's a pretty strong looking piece of headgear there. Rugby teams here.
Strong guys. It's a very slow curveball that we'll see on occasion from De La Rosa. Gets it barely up into the 70s. And there's his quicker breaking pitch. Slider as he moves that off the plate inside to Morse.
230 for Morse. Pinch hit, base hit last night. We'll look at his grip at some point. A little different. Breaks his bat, rolls it to short. Descalso behind it. 2 men out. And Morse uses kind of a golfer's grip with an interlocking.
I've noticed
finger.
a few guys this year on other teams that they are going to that interlock grip.
De La Rosa now will face Jay. Josh at second in the order last night. Reached base 3 times out of 4 trips. Had 2 hits. Well, that just looks like summer out there.
Still here, going strong.
And over the last several years, the increase in the number of boats that anchor outside the ballpark and fly the Jolly Roger has gone up exponentially. Whether it's a kayak, a canoe, or a big old boat. 1-1 to Josh. 90 hits on the season for Josh. 323 at bats. Gives you 279 average. De La Rosa's 1-1. Ball and 2 strikes to Harrison. I mentioned it earlier. Josh is hosting a fundraiser in town tonight. The Dream Builders Foundation, charity he works closely with. One-two pitch. Now it's good to see a lot of guys the way they work in the community and give back. And we're looking at a stretch, Bob. It's 20 games. This is the 20th of 20 straight games. And a lot of guys would like to have a night off at home, but Josh, no, he wants to go out and help somebody. That's what he's doing tonight.
Yeah, this is a tough stretch of games, and for him to give up a night like this, that's awfully big.
He goes down swinging, and Charlie coming back out. Health Network injury update. A.J. Burnett threw in the bullpen today. A somewhat simulated game. Had hitters stand in the batter's box while he threw. Originally scheduled to throw 4 innings, or 4 ups as they call them, and then take a break in between. You see how the batters do not swing when they're in the bullpen. They just stand there and set a target. But 71 pitches for A.J., and the plan for him now is to throw a simulated game in St. Louis on the field next week. Top of the 3rd, no score. Pirates and Rockies.
It looks like he's getting awfully close to being ready, doesn't it?
Yeah, he told one of the writers, I saw a quote from him that said, "I'm not saying that I could pitch today, but I could have pitched today." Just he's pitching pain-free right now.
Can't get closer than that.
Yeah, it's not.
He just has to figure out a way to get a pitch count up where he's ready to go out there again.
Daniel Descalso swings, hits a ground ball to Josh Harrison. Josh has been getting plenty of work on those already today. That is his 4th infield assist. 4th ground ball hit to Josh, and we're just in the top of the 3rd.
He's doing a great job with that fastball. Just been amazing to this point. I think every pitch he's thrown, except perhaps 2, maybe 3, have been fastballs. I wanted him to establish the fastball. He's gone overboard in that regard. I mean, he has really done that here early in this game. He's pitching lefties inside with it. Again, fastball.
Catcher Dustin Garneau at the plate. Backup catcher for the Rockies. Right-handed hitter facing Charlie on the pitch. It's down low. 1-1. Garneau had his first career major league at bat on the 20th of August against the Nationals in Max Scherzer, and he hit a double against him.
Oh, how about that? Finally mixes in a hook, and it's a beauty right at the knees. Beautiful pitch.
Shows up again, strike 3.
How about that? He comes back after throwing that beautiful one at the knees. He comes back with another one and just tickles the edge of the outside corner with it. For the location with this one. Right on the black. Well, after throwing all of those fastballs and then to come and just throw 2 perfect curveballs in a row. That is excellent work.
Pitcher Jorge De La Rosa takes a strike. Three for 40 on the year. He's in the hole 0-2. Good location with that pitch. And a ground ball to third. Ramirez boots it. Still has time. Throws to first. Safe. Boy, a routine grounder would have ended the inning. And Charlie was 8 up and 8 down to that point, and De La Rosa reaches on the error by Ramos Ramirez.
This ball came off the end of the bat with a lot of that crazy spin, like a cue shot, and maybe took a little bit of a hop. Well, obviously took a hop that Ramirez was not expecting. The ball got up almost on the heel of his hand.
Obviously disappointed. He knows how this game is starting for Charlie. First base runner for the Rockies. Now Charlie Blackmon at the plate. Ball 1 low. Blackmon popped out foul to Ramirez to start the ball game. And this one's up in the air, shallow center. McCutchen finds it. Okay. Calls for the fair catch. And that's the inning. Through 3. Still no score. For the fair catch. Imagine him as a punt returner. Join us in Morgantown, West Virginia for the Mountaineers 2015 season opener Saturday on Road Sports. See Dana Holgerson and his team kick off their season as they host the Georgia Southern Eagles. It's all part of a wild and wonderful sports Saturday, and it starts at 7:30 on Road Sports. No score, bottom of the third inning on the North Shore, Pittsburgh. With Bob Walker, I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Smikowski is with us also. Kutch was a really good high school football player. Didn't play his last year. He got hurt one year, actually, and stopped playing football, but he was really good. Jordy Mercer, 243 hitter, batting in the 8th spot will be Mercer, Morton, and back to Gregory Polanco in the top of the order against Jorge De La Rosa.
Figure out a way to get a run or two up on this board. Give Charlie some run support.
1-0 to Jordy. A bartender sweep on the rocks here. The Pirates will try to accommodate him. One and one the count. Mercer held off on that one and took it for a strike. Rosa's 1-2. Poor foul. Now you mentioned it earlier, Bob. This time of the year, you're in a pennant race. You have to really go day to day. You focus on day to day. You don't focus on winning series. I know the Pirates did well winning series last year and in 2013, but you got to win every day.
You know, what does that mean? We talk about winning series, but I think it's just something to talk about during the season. When you look at the standings, it doesn't say, well, you don't get anything for winning a series. You get something for winning the games. And so that's what really it's all about all the time. But it really gets magnified this time of year, because now is when the standings are leading the way of every conversation you have. It's all about winning the game that's in front of you. There's nothing else you can really talk about. I always thought about, when we talk about winning series, it's a way to rationalize why you lost that day. It doesn't matter. We won the series. You know what I mean? But right now, doesn't matter.
Got to win the games. Huh? Chance for Charlie to get Jordy Mercer over to second base.
You want to put a win on the board this afternoon and let the Cardinals see that early before their game out on the coast. Make them have to deal with that mentally, knowing that look, the Pirates, they already won this afternoon. Get that W now and put it up every day.
Yeah, a win coupled with a Cardinal loss today would put the Pirates 2.5 behind them. It's where they were at the All-Star break and the closest they've been this season to it.
Get into that postseason, then we can start talking series again.
Sacrifice bunt goes to second base. Is too close to the third baseman, Arenado. And Jordy is forced out. And Jordy looks like he's shaken up a little bit.
Well, we always talk about the bunt in these scenarios. They have to be to the first base side. I mean, it's sacrifice bunting 101. Look where the first baseman is. And now look where the third baseman is, and it's self-explanatory of why you bunt in a certain direction.
Well, Jordy looks like he's got a little soreness on the knee. It was his left knee that he hurt in Milwaukee, and that initially cost him some time. He gets some help off. It's Ben Potenziano with him. So the Pirates will have to get a man to second another way. Looks like Jordy's heading down the hallway, which would mean he'd go up to the clubhouse.
Oh, they have a little trainer's room right down there at the bottom of the steps. They might be taking him in there.
Pitch low to Gregory.
Take a real quick look at it initially and decide if there's a problem or not.
One ball, no strikes. Takes that one inside. It's 2-0. Jung Ho Kang would be the guy to go in if Mercer doesn't continue, but he's still resting on the bench right now. That one just caught the corner. 2-1. Gregory struck out of the first inning swinging. He has had some success this series. Didn't have a hit last night, but a fielder's choice drove in the game-winning run. And 2 games ago, went 3 for 5, scored 2 runs, drove another one in, stole a base. He's made 2 really good defensive plays with his arm. For the second time, Polanco goes down on strikes. 2 men out.
Keeping the ball down on him pretty well, throwing the harder breaking ball. And Polanco was chasing it.
Marte over the last couple of starts for De La Rosa, he's thrown his changeup a lot. See more breaking balls. Pitch inside of Marte. 1 ball, no strikes. Last win for De La Rosa August 1st. His last start against Atlanta. Took the loss, gave up 5 runs. Gave up 2 home runs. The one thing he's been able to do is give the Rockies a little bit of length. He's gone at least 6 innings in all 5 starts this month.
He's a good pitcher. To do what he has done over the years with the home games up there at Coors Field. As I said earlier, I'd tip my hat to him.
He is the last player that was on the active roster when Clint Hurdle was still managing in Colorado. And Clint told me earlier today that when he first started, when they got him from Kansas City, he was unwatchable. He said he has changed so much. He said he pitched like a human rain delay. He just was so slow. He's still deliberate, but imagine what he was before. But they referred to him as a reclamation project, and it really turned his career around when he left Kansas City and came to Colorado. He worked on some different things.
Well, those games in Colorado are so quick anyway.
No, they're not. We got 4 hours to kill. I'll show you where to go in Denver. And they used to be longer. Charlie Morton, the base runner at first base. 2 men out. No score still. 1-2 count on Starling Marte facing Jorge De La Rosa. There's a comebacker. And the Pirates go rather quietly in the 3rd inning. Got a hit and a man left. That's it. No score. Heading to the 4th.
All on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Traverse and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks.
Our Day Automotive, this day in Pirates history, this date in 1960. The Pirates beat the Dodgers 5-2 at the LA Coliseum. Dick Groat and Roberto Clemente both homered off Sandy Koufax as the Bucks chased the Dodger ace early. For the Bucks, Bob Friend went 7 1/3 innings as he won his 14th game of the season. Yesterday, the 1960 team honored the sons of Roberto Clemente, Roberto Jr. and Luis. There's Bob Friend. Never missed a start in 16 years. How about that? That's amazing. Of course, the Hall of Famer Bill Mazeroski on hand as well. 55th anniversary of the 1960 World Champion Pittsburgh Pirates.
Great group of guys. You're talking about the Coliseum in 1960, Dodgers. Vince Scully was there.
He was.
And he'll be back again next year. I guess
one more year.
One more year, he said. And that's going to be his last. 67 years?
67 years in the same job, Bob.
Wow, 67 years.
He is an
announcing
icon.
Dodger games.
DJ LeMahieu takes the ball 2-0. Vince said that he is just the most ordinary guy ever who was given an extraordinary opportunity. A base hit to right field. First hit off of Morton. Let's go back to our Root Sports studios. Dan Potash standing by with this State Farm game break.
Right fielder Carlos Gonzalez.
I would say he's a little hot right now.
He is red hot. That whole team is hot. How about their offense they have now?
I know. Thanks, Dan. Encarnacion, to go along with his 3 home runs, had 9 RBIs in the game yesterday. Another home run today. Toronto has, I believe, 22 games in which they have won where they have scored 10 runs or better.
They made a big statement when they went out and got the longtime Rockies shortstop, Tulowitzki, and they've just been scoring runs by the bunches since then.
Carlos Gonzalez at the plate. And he grounds it to the right side. That's past the diving Jay Hay. LeMahieu will stay at second base. And now 2 hits to start the 4th, and the Rockies have runners at first and second and nobody out.
This is just a ground ball. Nothing special about it. They're lucky enough that it was in the right spot.
And Gonzalez, a guy you thought the Rockies were going to try to trade because of his contract. They did manage to trade Troy Tulowitzki, as you mentioned, to Toronto. Tulowitzki, a $20 million player. They traded him for a $22 million deal that belongs to Jose Reyes. Reyes not in the lineup today. And recently, Reyes told some of the writers in Colorado that he's coming to the end of his career, did not want to spend it with a last place team. And so he's not really popular among the Rocky fans right now. There's a shot to right field. That's going to go to the wall, and the Rockies are going to get on the board first. LeMahieu comes in to score on a double by Nolan Arenado, his 93rd run batted in. 3 straight hits in the 4th after Charlie was nearly perfect through 3. Things can turn sideways on you in a hurry.
Yeah, good job by Arenado. That's the pitch that you want him to pull to try and get a double play ball. But instead, took it the other way with authority.
So hits by Arenado, Gonzalez, and LeMahieu have produced a run. And now 2 men in scoring position. Still nobody out for Ben Paulson. And Paulson whips one to right center field. This is going to get 2 runs in. Paulson's going to head for 3. He's around second, and he will be in with a triple. It's 3-0 Colorado on 4 straight hits by the Rockies.
And what really hurts is the last 2, the double triple. The ball shooting through the gap. There's nobody out. That's the last thing you want, is somebody getting the third on you. That was the gap they were giving him. You could see there early on that Andrew playing over into left center. They were running hard right out of the box. He ends up with 3 easy. Not even a play on him.
Ray Searage pays Charlie a visit. 3 runs in, and potential 4th 90 feet away with nobody out. Kyle Parker, the left fielder, will be the hitter.
Yeah, the Arenado base hit is the one I think that really, he threw a nice pitch. It was a sinker that was at the knees and the outside half of the plate. And that's the one you're thinking, okay, if he tries to pull this ball, it's going to be ground ball to third, ground ball to short. But he just did a great job of hitting. He doesn't have all those home runs and RBIs for nothing. He went with that sinker down and away and drove it for the double down the foul line.
Ground ball to second with the infield in. Runner not going. Jay Hay throws to first, and Parker is out for 1 gone.
Yeah, back to your thoughts on Reyes. I really, when I first saw that trade, I thought they were going to turn around and trade Reyes immediately. I don't see him as a long-term Rocky, no matter what.
And to the observer, the finances don't make sense on it, but
well, you never know what the finances are.
Yeah, we don't know all the details.
So I mean, you don't know how much money came one way or the other, or who's paying whose salary or anything like that. And that's kind of that happens all the time. Guys get traded, but the old team has to take part of that salary. You don't know how big the part is.
Line shot right to Mercer off the bat of Descalso. And there are 2 down.
Well, some unfortunate events in this inning, but now with the infield in, a couple of Adam balls. But the knee is good. Got up plenty high.
No problem with the springs. And they will walk the catcher, Dustin Garneau, to get to the pitcher, De La Rosa, with first base available. Well, the Pirates know where the bar is set. They know where they need to get going offensively. They've only managed 2 hits off of De La Rosa so far. The 4th wide one, and Garneau will take his place down at first. First and third, 2 out. De La Rosa reaching on an error last time up. Walt Weiss, Rockies skipper, has seen his team lose their share of series. In fact, here in Pittsburgh alone, they've lost 7 straight ball games, dating back to last year. Pirates have 4 more games remaining with these Rockies out in Colorado, September 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, part of the last road trip of the regular season. Charlie gets ahead of him quickly, 0-2. Next pitch will be the 50th for Charlie.
If he gets out of this, just giving up 3 runs, I think you have to feel that's a fortunate event, and hopefully the bats will get to work.
De La Rosa out on strikes. 3 runs, 4 hits, all consecutive. 2 men left. And after 3.5, it's a 3-0 Colorado lead.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by USAA, proudly serving the needs of the military community for over 90 years.
On the UPMC scoreboard, Colorado 3 and the Pirates nothing. Bottom of the 4th at PNC Park. And coming up on this week's Inside Pirates Baseball, with runners in scoring position, there's no one better than Andrew McCutchen to bring them home. And Pirates prospect Josh Bell had a familiar teammate at this year's Futures game in Cincinnati. And there's much more on Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network, today after postgame on Root Sports. Well, they hope that goes up at the end of this game, too. The Pirates need to get the offense going against Jorge De La Rosa. Find a way now in a hole, 3-0. That's 1 for 1. Singled in the first with 2 men out. Those solid numbers again. 307, 20 home runs, and 85 runs batted in. McCutchen has 1 more run batted in now than he did during his MVP season of 2013. Highest batting average as a team during August. The Pirates 276. They're on top of the list. It's our Barrel Automotive League leader stat. 2-1 to McCutchen. Well, part of the reason the Pirates are top hitting team in August. One of the top hitting players in August. 352. Third base side. And Descalso able to get it there in a scoop by Paulson. And he dropped it on the exchange, says first base umpire Laz Diaz. So McCutchen is out 6-3.
Nice play by Descalso, and I see another look at that scoop. Oh yeah, he got it. You can see it was not rattling around or anything. Took it out of the dirt. Nice play on both ends.
Ball one to Ramirez. He flied to left in the first inning. De La Rosa, no hurry at all.
I don't think he liked the ball one call on that last pitch. Perhaps showing his displeasure by taking his time now.
What's he going to do in the ball two call?
I think he's not going to like that one either. Here, we'll show you why. He should be 0-2 and he's 2-0.
Foul ball results in a strike. 2-1. De La Rosa came over to Colorado in 2008. A trade from the Kansas City Royals. Traded him for money. And worked out well for Colorado. Worked out great for De La Rosa.
It's usually called a sale, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you're traded for cash, let's say you go to the store and buy something, right? You're trading cash for that item, right? What's the difference?
When I trade something, I don't have to pay sales tax. When I buy something, I do.
Okay.
That might not be totally true also. I think.
All right, so let's go to
if you trade something and you're getting something greater in return, you're going to still have to pay some tax. Like if you trade cars,
right?
Still going to have to pay some sales tax if you get a.
This one's up in the air to center field, right center. Blackman a long run, and Gonzalez there to make the catch.
Yeah, I think when it's like a cash deal, it's the same. I'd go with sale.
The Pirates and PNC Bank have teamed up to offer Pirates fans a special deal. Save $5 on select Sunday through Thursday tickets. Plus get $5 in loaded value. Good for concessions and merchandise at PNC Park. Just use your PNC Pirates Affinity card to purchase the tickets. Get more details at pirates.com/piratescard.
See, in that case, you're making a trade for nachos.
Yes, right? With the loaded value.
Yeah, you're making a trade, I guess.
Yeah, food and merchandise, values loaded right onto your ticket, it's just like cash. Digital money. One ball and one strike to Cervelli. Bottom of the fourth, 3-0 Rockies. Cervelli went down swinging in the second inning. Oh, it is 2-1. Last night turned out to be a good night for the Pirates. Not only did they win, but it's one of those few nights when the Cubs lost. Cardinals did win. But when the Cubs lose and the Pirates win, it's more distance between them. The first and second wild card spot, just in case.
Change up that messed upstairs with. I think he uses that splitter grip for his changeup.
You talk about grips today. The kids got the pitching grip baseball.
Yeah, that's right.
From Chevron today, and they'll learn different grips on that. But I know you've got one too. And
yeah, it shows you where to. These are the curveball spots. There you can see where you put your fingertips for different pitches. Nice giveaway for the kids.
Charlie Morton coming back out after Cervelli goes down on strikes.
Afternoon on the North Shore. Here's a Point Park University tweet we got from Cole Tucker last night. It's a screenshot of him FaceTiming his teammates. Just got a very loud and wet FaceTime call from my teammates back with the West Virginia Power. Congratulations on playoffs, boys. That's because with the 8-1 win over Lexington last night, the Power clinched a playoff berth. They're headed to the postseason for the second time in 3 seasons and the 4th overall in their 11-year history. Now, GM Neil Huntington said their scouts have done a great job of putting a talented group out there, and the staff, led by manager Brian Esposito, and players show up every day expecting to win. Now, Neil did add that winning is extremely important to player development. Once the umpire says play ball, they expect to execute, play well, and win that day. So best wishes to the West Virginia Power, Tim and Bob, with a great chance to win the Sally League, the South Atlantic League title.
Yeah, good luck to them, and good luck to Cole Tucker and his recovery from injury, the Pirates shortstop prospect. It's good to have minor league affiliates in the postseason. Teaches you how to win early. You know, that's one of the things about pro baseball. You learn how to be a professional, learn pro baseball. Then at some point you got to learn how to play winning professional baseball, and it's good to have that in the minor leagues.
Yeah, those young guys, they like those rings.
They remember. It's a big step.
You know, a lot of them, maybe even most of them, they know that the odds are stacked against them. But very few players at that level actually get to the big league. So, you know, just winning a championship at that level is very important to those guys. They don't know how far they're going to go in their career, but they can at least, you know, say, hey, you know, here's the ring that I got when we won a Carolina League championship in such and such a year. It's a cool thing for them to do, and great thing to experience. Definitely be pulling for them.
Charlie Blackman yanks this one foul. Well, there's some players on this team who were part of the Altoona Eastern League championship team, and even the Pirates Lynchburg team before they moved their single A advanced team to Bradenton in the Florida State League. Some guys who won consecutive championships at the single A and double A level. And a line shot past Jay, and that is into right field, and Blackman has a single. He's 1 for 3. And, Harrison among those guys with minor league championships. Jordy Mercer, Tony Watson, Jeff Locke also. When you talk to those guys about those days, boy, their eyes light up.
This game is starting to look a little bit like Charlie's last one. Dominant first couple innings, and then the hits just started to keep coming.
This was against Miami on Tuesday.
It's very different, though, as far as the way it happened early. And Miami wasn't really getting any ground balls. Here he's back to the same, getting all the ground balls, really establishing that fastball. But I thought that would be the way to go, but it's not working now.
Pitch is low to LeMahieu, 1-1.
3 runs and 5 hits after the 3rd inning.
Yeah, if not for the error on Ramirez, it would have been perfect through 3. Still had no hitter through 3. And then in the 4th, bang, 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 bang. And then all of a sudden you turn around and it's 3-0.
And now here he gets the leadoff base hit against him. So back to looking for that ground ball double play again, which is always in play when he's out there.
Pitch out, nothing on. Blackman, the top base thief for the Rockies, 34 stolen bases. It's a career high in steals for him. First Rocky to have 30 steals in a season since Willie Tavares had 68 in 2008. Foul at the third base side, 2-2 the count.
For years, the Rockies had all that thunder in their lineup. Probably wasn't a whole lot of emphasis on trying to steal. They knew somebody was going to hit a home run every night. Probably going to get more than one. Back in the old Larry Walker, Dante Bichette days.
Mayhew down on strikes. Charlie Morton strikes out his fourth.
Good sinker dipping underneath the bat.
Back in the days of the Blake Street Bombers pre-Humidor, you were in scoring position if you were on deck.
Yeah, exactly. Galarraga over at first base. They had some mashers. Vinny Castillo playing third. He hit a ton of home runs. Ellis Burks out there in center. They could flat hit.
One out, Gonzalez the batter. He hits one to Jay. Sharply hit. There's one, and there's two. Hard hit ball turns into 2 outs. No runs a hit. That's it for the Rockies in the top half of the fifth. Rockies ahead of the Pirates. And this is our Chick-fil-A double play. Just moments ago, Carlos Gonzalez hitting into it.
Well, the ball was hit well, but right at Jay. Once Jay gloved it, then it was an easy 2. And that's kind of the difference in the ball game, right there. That play. If you remember, was it Paulson? Hit a ball just. No, it wasn't Paulson. Gonzalez hit a ball just like that. In the inning, they scored the 3 runs after the leadoff hit.
And it just got past Jay.
It was the same exact ball, except that it was just maybe 10 feet to his right and just barely got by him. And if that would have been over a little bit, double play that inning never happens. And sometimes it's that simple.
There's something at the far end of the Pirate dugout. Michael Moore 0 for 1. Let's see, what does it hit?
The fan, maybe?
Plank, yeah. Let's see there.
Well, the fan doesn't move very fast, does it? If they turned it up, they would spin faster. They get more air out of it. See how slow the prop was?
Yeah, real slow. In slow motion. Morse goes down on strikes.
Now they've turned it up. Now it's moving.
That's 2 straight strikeouts for De La Rosa. 6 in the game for him. Pirates got to find a way to solve him. Got to get one here.
Only a couple of hits. One of them hit Kutch got in the first inning with 2 outs.
Josh is 0 for 1. He struck out swinging in the second inning. Josh made the double play that ended the game last night. 4 unassisted to 4 double play. Lined out, took the catch on the lineup, ran it over to first, got himself out. There's Paulson. And there are 2 down. A soft liner retires Harrison. Now Jordy Mercer coming up with 2 men out. Starting to get an uneasy feeling about the way this game is going, Bob.
Yeah, we need to get in the bullpen, I think. De La Rosa, the pitch count up a little. Pitch number 72. There's a base hit here, maybe after a long at bat. And have to throw some to Charlie, and even if he gets out of the inning with no problem, at least maybe he'll be at 80 pitches. 80 pitches through 5. Maybe get to that 100 mark after 6 innings and get in the bullpen for the last 3. Big game plan.
That's a base hit for Mercer. He's 2 for 2.
Taking advantage of the shift. He sees it over there. It's a wide open field, and you can see by the swing, he's just purposely going that direction because there's nobody playing over there. Should say nobody. First baseman obviously is always on that side, but tough for him to take the whole field, even with a left-handed pitcher falling toward third. Sometimes even if you hit one at the first baseman, it might not be anybody for him to throw it to if you can beat the lefty to the bag.
Well, Clint had a good line about the shift the other day. Guys who hit away from it, because they go by the spray charts and they play in the areas where the guys hit most. He said it's like hitting on 16 when you play blackjack. Sometimes you're going to win, but not often. Ground ball to third base. Arenado throws out Charlie Morton. No runs, a hit, a man left. We're through 5. The Pirates bats very quiet today. Allegheny Health Network Supermo with some great shots again today here at PNC Park. Out in the Riverwalk area near it anyway, the ballpark's version of it. That's here today. Great crowd on hand. Pirates trying to find a way to get on the board. Down 3-0 to these Colorado Rockies. Renegades aren't happy right now. So Charlie Morton back out there in the top of the 6th. They'll face Nolan Arenado, the third baseman, Ben Paulson, the first baseman, and Kyle Parker, the left fielder. Arenado, that's a swing. Arenado drove in a run with a double in the 4th. He is second in the National League in RBIs behind Paul Goldschmidt of Arizona. Goldschmidt with 96, Arenado now with 93, and McCutchen third. And it's 0-2 to Arenado. Arenado also up there in home runs with 30, so he is flirting with the top spot in 2 of the 3 Triple Crown categories, RBIs and home runs. Batting average has got a way to go. 276. Lead leader is D. Gordon at 333.
That's why those Triple Crowns are so rare. It's very tough to combine the big RBI numbers, big home run numbers with that high batting average.
Jay with a good play. Throws to first, dug out by Morse. Boy, Josh had to go a long way to get to that baseball. How about the throw?
Nice job. Nice little pick, as you said, with Morris over there.
Not an easy throw. Well, 1 out. Well, the Rockies will send up Ben Paulson, who tripled in 2 runs in the 4th inning. Grounded out to Morse at first base, his first time up in the 2nd. 0-1 to Paulson. Rockies head back to Denver after the game. They'll open up a series with the Diamondbacks. They get back to divisional play. Well, the Pirates will head off to Milwaukee. One. That is stroked off the glove of Morse. And that'll be a base hit for Paulson. He's 2 for 3. 1 out single.
I need to definitely hold the fort here. As tough as it looks like it's going to be to get 3 runs. Got to put up nothing but zeros from here on out.
And you'd have to think that this next batter, Parker, could be a double play candidate. He's grounded out to Jay twice. Takes low for a ball. Getting just 190. Ball and 1 strike. Charlie has struck out 4 today. And 3 runs were given up in the 4th on 4 consecutive hits. Charlie walking off the mound and back on. Oftentimes when he's got it going right, he gets into a rhythm, good rhythm. He's ahead of Parker 1-2. One out in the Rockies half of the 6th inning. And right-handed hitters with a very high ground ball rate against Charlie Morton, so we'd like to induce one here. Gorgeous day here in Pittsburgh. Look at that.
Always looks fake back there.
It does. It looks like a movie set. Strike 3 call. Parker goes down looking. 5th strikeout of the afternoon for Charlie.
That ball looked like it was going to be off the plate. Comes back just enough to catch the corner.
Morton will now face Daniel Descalso, who is 0 for 2. Grounded to second in the 3rd, lined out to Jordy Mercer in the 4th inning. Strike 1 to him. Hitting just .212 with Colorado. Paulson the runner at first base, and Charlie's 0-1. Now it's 0-2. Descalso swinging over the top of that curveball. Pirates will have the top of the order up in the bottom of the 6th. Got away, and the runner will move up. Wild pitch by Morton sends Paulson down to second base.
Yeah, you never mind 2 outs, somebody going from second to third, but this is always a tough one, first to second. Second to third just doesn't hurt you, not that big of a deal, but now you have a runner in scoring position. A single's going to score a run.
Count now even to Descalso. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Charlie pushing 80 pitches right now. So it's back at second base. Now the 2-2. 3-2. Charlie gets back into the stretch, and they'll walk him. So that'll be an intentional walk for Descalso. Runners at first and second. They'll walk Descalso to get to the catcher, Dustin Garneau, the number 8 hitter. Bike Pittsburgh is hosting the second Bike to the Ball game at PNC Park Tuesday, September 15th, when the Pirates host the Chicago Cubs. Ticket packages are available starting at $19 and include a donation to Bike Pittsburgh and valet for your bike on Federal Street for the game. For tickets, go to pirates.com/bikepgh. And on the 15th of September, that is now a doubleheader. It'll be a split doubleheader. 1:35 the first game, 7:05 the second game. We're biking right behind the ballpark here. Twin bill, Pirates and Cubs on the 15th. That one is off the glove of Morton. He'll have to hurry, and he overthrows it. And the Rockies are going to get at least 1 run. They'll get 2 runs out of this on an error by Charlie Morton that we'll probably never see him make again.
They had plenty of time. Just rushed it. It's a tough one to swallow at this point of the ball game, going down 5-zip.
After the intentional walk too, it's just a free run there. Now De La Rosa batting.
The whole situation is because of a wild pitch.
Yeah, if there's no wild pitch, there's no first base open. No reason to utilize it and go after Garneau.
You know, the ground ball base hit was kind of shaky too. So, the whole inning is. I'd have to watch it again, but you got a shift on with the second baseman playing way over and way out on the outfield grass. You know, if Morse just goes to the back, that's probably just a ground ball jam. So you know, the whole inning is kind of a mess.
Antonio Bastardo now working in the Pirate pen. And De La Rosa strikes out. 2 freebies for the Rockies in the 6th. And after 5.5, it's 5-0.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All. By Kenny Ross, Just Ask a Neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Rockies 5, Pirates nothing as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Only 3 hits for the Pirates. They've committed 2 errors today. Certainly not their finest game. And as this month of August has been playing out, the Pirates 19-7. It has been an incredible month and still time to rectify things here. But to this point in the game, they have not been able to solve Jorge De La Rosa. New left fielder for the Rockies is Brandon Barnes as Parker is out.
Well, this team never gives up, but it's got a nice little mountain to climb now against a guy that they just have not figured out this afternoon at all.
Charlie Morton with a 2-run error. And Gregory Polanco, 3rd time up against De La Rosa. He struck out the first 2 times. This one's ripped into the glove of Paulson. Boy, he just stole a double. How did he make that catch? That ball was crushed by Polanco. And before you could blink, it was in the webbing of the glove of Paulson.
Yeah, he's had a very tough afternoon until that swing.
That's kind of, I think, the epitome of how this game's gone for the Pirates right here. You hammer a ball and hit it right into the fielder's glove. Starling Marte looking to get it done. 0 for 2 today, and Marte is now 0 for his last 14. That's a slump. One and one to Starling. He's grounded out twice. Once to third, once right back to the pitcher, De La Rosa.
You sure hope he gets out of this slump soon. I mean, it's such a great top of the lineup when they're all hitting at the same time. Got to get Marte going again.
He's ready for Marte Parte. It's a nice party hat.
I've been partying for a while.
Ground ball to short. Descalso throws him out. And there are 2 men out for the Pirates in the 6th. Now today, USAA honors all of our service members at home and abroad. Andrew McCutchen coming to the plate. His new walk-up song, "Lean on Me." He has one of the 3 Pirate hits. Well, we've seen 3 pitchers with the Rockies with 3 very distinct deliveries. De La Rosa with a pause right at the top of the windup. We saw Chris Russin yesterday with a quick pitch. He'd never used the quick pitch in a game before yesterday. Kind of caught some folks off guard with that one. And John Gray, who kind of side saddled it on the right side of the pitcher's mound.
Yeah, I would have been questioning the legality of Gray's delivery with the bases loaded the other night.
Because you really, when he lined up, you couldn't differentiate whether it was a stretch or not.
Yeah, I would like to have had an explanation as to how he could, stand with and look in, and then after you do that for a moment, then turn and go into what's essentially a stretch position, and then go from there into a windup. Now with nobody on base, who cares? You do whatever you want out there, but with that runner at third, it's definitely a gray area.
The gray area. Here comes the 2-2 to McCutchen. And he strikes out. De La Rosa makes quick work of the Pirates in the 6th as the Bucs go down in order. It's nothing on the UPMC scoreboard. Take a look at the Nissan Road ahead. Day off tomorrow, travel day. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Milwaukee. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night in St. Louis. And then 3 with the Reds. Quick turnaround on Monday the 7th. A 1 o'clock game in Cincinnati after a night game in St. Louis. And then the Brewers and Cubs come into PNC Park. Don't forget, on the 15th is a doubleheader now, a separate admission doubleheader. 1:35 game 1, 7:05 game 2. And that's out west to take on the Dodgers. The final road trip of the regular season will commence. And here is Bastardo taking over for Charlie Morton.
Been very active for the Pirates this year, as you can see. 51 games now. And when he's throwing the ball over the plate, throwing strikes, he's been very good. Occasionally, he's had some control issues here and there this year.
Well, Bastardo
of late been really good.
Yeah, he's been good lately.
A lot of strikes.
We'll face the top of the order, Charlie Blackmon. Pirates will play Blackmon to pull. Ball 1 to him. Bastardo struck out 2 of the 3 batters he faced in an inning of work Tuesday night in Miami. One and 1 to Blackmon. Blackman's base hit came in the 5th, and then he was erased as part of a double play hit into by Carlos Gonzalez. One 1. 2 balls and a strike. Bastardo has been scored upon just once in his last 16 games at PNC Park. Fouled off for strike 2. The Pirates on Sundays at home during the day, 15-1. It's kind of been in their wheelhouse. These day games at home on Sunday. Night games haven't been bad either. They've worked out well. But just those weird games. Nothing going yet for the Bucks. Couple of errors in the field. One led to 2 runs. One didn't lead to any. But big inning was the 4th. And the Rockies have 4 straight hits. 2 singles, a double, and a triple. That produced 3 runs. That's up in the air to shallow center. Mercer going out looking for help. He's not going to get it. And Blackmon in with a hit. His second one of the day.
Mercer normally wouldn't have that far to run. Would have been a little easier play for him, but they had the shift on, so you can see where he is. He's over on the second base side of the bag, and the ball is popped out there beyond the normal shortstop position, and just couldn't quite find it in time. Yeah, I was looking at Arenado's hit disbursement. Is that would be a correct term?
I think you're right.
75 of his hits to left field. He really likes to go that direction.
Got 133 hits total.
Look at the wrong spray chart. The wrong hitter. That was Blackmon.
Yeah, Arenado's on deck.
He'll be up eventually.
He will be
now
up
that
again.
makes sense to me now with him up there. I was sitting there and I'm looking at that and I'm like, why is Blackmon get all of his hits to left field? And now it all is crystal clear. I'm looking at Arenado's spray chart.
Yeah.
Too many
but
sheets
now you're
up
prepared.
here. They're all mixed up. So too many sheets in front of me.
I'm just getting ready for when he comes up. He's on the dugout steps with a bat in his hand.
See, that's why when there's a pinch hitter, you see the pitching coach go out to talk.
Now this is Blackman's spray chart. So the majority of the balls he hits go to the right side. Being a left-handed hitter, he does spray a few over to the left side.
That's why I couldn't understand, because what I was looking at was base hits, not ground balls. And I couldn't understand how he had 75 hits the other way. It seemed like an odd number.
And this is Arenado.
Now that explains why you see a lot of ground balls that way, but 75 base hits to left field because he's a pole hitter. You can see that one purple line going down the right side. That's where he got his double today, down that right side.
Nothing in two, the count to LeMahieu. He strikes out. So Bastardo gets him. And there's one out.
Arenado has got 75 hits to left field. Now I got the right chart in my hand. Chasing the breaking ball down in the dirt.
Oh. You got the right chart for the on deck hitter.
I thought you said Arenado was on deck.
I said he was on double deck. He was on the dugout steps. It's right in front of you too. You can also see it.
No, I'm not looking down there. I'm looking at these charts.
Yeah, this is Carlos Gonzalez.
Where is Arenado at?
Told you he's on deck now.
So you really said double deck.
You never called it that in Little League?
Double deck?
Yeah.
No, we called it in the hole.
Yeah, well, it's
on deck and in the hole.
Same thing. Yeah, it means the same. It's a Little League term. And there is Nolan Arenado.
And that would put Paulson on the double deck.
Yep. I heard Arenado has 75 hits to left field.
He probably won't even hit this inning.
See if Gonzalez can hit into another double play. There goes Blackman, and he will steal second base uncontested. Stolen base number 35 for him. It extends his career best.
No contest. Got a running start.
One to Gonzalez. Five has been somewhat of a magic number for the Rockies too in terms of runs scored. They now have 9 games since August 14th. They have scored 5 runs or more. That ties the Cubs for the most in the last couple of weeks. Games with 5 or more runs scored. Walt Weiss's team has an offense. They've got back-to-back hitters in the lineup with 61 home runs combined. With Gonzalez and Arenado. Some other guys who hit well for average. They have an offense. It's been, for the most part, pitching that has let them down. Although today, De La Rosa is having one of his finer games. Strike 3 call. Down on strikes. Carlos Gonzalez.
Oh, well placed fastball. Hey, who's up?
Pretty close to not being a strike. But he got the call, and Nolan Arenado at the plate. No, Bob's been anticipating this at bat.
I'm going to show you that this is the sheet that I've been reading for 6 hitters in a row.
ever since he's been on double deck.
He's finally up. There's another thing that's interesting on this sheet also. We're going to take a look at it now. If you look at the strike zone, you can see across the bottom all the numbers are red.
Yeah.
He is an extremely good low ball hitter, but this is there you can see. Whoop, wrong finger. There you go. That's the 75 base hits to left. But these are some of the sheets that we get up here, and why I get confused at times.
Try to help you prepare. Well, yeah, but you know, you were getting prepared way ahead of his at bat just because you wanted to pass that information along in a timely manner.
No, I thought I was looking at Blackman's sheet. I was 4 hitters off. Don't try to save me.
Blackman's on base. What does his sheet say?
He's a good pull hitter. Steals a lot of bases. Arenado doesn't even have a beard.
I know. One of the few.
Now you got me wondering here. I got to go through the sheets. No, I'm not going to go through the sheets. Never mind. It's not worth it.
You know, if you look at Blackman and put an eye patch on him, and he'd look like a good Pirate, wouldn't he?
Oh, excellent Pirate. Yeah, that's for sure. Give him a cutlass.
Strike to Arenado. It's 3-1. Bastardo delivers, and that's a strike. Arenado couldn't hold it up. Full count, 3-2. Charlie Blackmon, he put that hat on him like that. He'd fit in right up there with the Renegades.
He could be right there with the Renegades.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's missing from the rotunda. There ought to be a plank. Maybe they should put a plank up there where the Renegades stand.
See, they have some grog. Gotta have a mug of grog. Pirates, though, they drank something called Bambo or something like that. The Pirates mainly had. They didn't have grog.
Well, Antonio Bastardo strikes out the side. Gives up 1 hit, 1 man stranded. Stretch time, middle of the 7th here at PNC Park. Pirates hope to get the bats going late. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Rockies up 5-0, and we'll keep you here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you now to stand as we offer support to our troops here and abroad. Today, the Pirates and Sport Clips are proud to salute Noah Price. Noah resides in the North Hills of Pittsburgh and served in the United States Army 137 Infantry Brigade as an infantry mortarman from 2008 through 2011. During a full-year deployment to Hawija, Iraq, Noah suffered combat-related injuries, was honorably discharged, and is well on his way to a full recovery. We are proud to have him and his family here with us today. Now here to lead us with God Bless America is Luke Chestnut.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless
by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's 5-0 lead for Colorado against the Pirates here, bottom of the 7th inning. Along with Bob Walk, I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie and Smikowski with us also on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon. To be a lot more gorgeous, the Pirates can find a way to get that 0 off the scoreboard. A.J. Burnett worked earlier today in the bullpen. 71 pitches, said felt no pain.
That's really good news. Be great to get A.J. back sometime in September.
He'll pitch a simulated game next week in St. Louis. This one down the left field line. There we go. Ramirez around first. He'll head to second base with a leadoff double. First extra base hit for the Pirates today.
Well, we've got a long ways to go, but you got to take that first step.
Allegheny Health Network Supermo following that ball to the corner. Double number 25 for Ramirez, and Cervelli 2 strikeouts today. There's action now behind De La Rosa in the Rockies bullpen.
And De La Rosa still doesn't have his pitch count up very high, but they perhaps are going to have an early hook for him.
Scott Oberg warming up.
That was just his 90th pitch.
The Pirates got to Oberg Friday. Handed him a loss coming out of the bullpen. 2-0 to Cervelli. So De La Rosa pitch away from putting Cervelli aboard. De La Rosa wasn't too happy with the call, and you saw Jeff Nelson motioning that the pitch was outside. Cervelli in a good count here. Ramirez the runner at second, nobody out. And there's ball 4, and the Pirates have 2 on.
No need to motion where that one was.
What's your sign for in the dirt?
Surprised the umpire didn't step out, motion it. That ball was low and away. Might have happened 30 years ago.
A chance now for Michael Morse as he faces De La Rosa for the 3rd time. Or will he?
Well, he wants the right-hander.
Well, I'm seeing Jeff Nelson motioning toward De La Rosa. I think he ejected him. Walt Weiss was coming to get him. I think he ejected him anyway. He made the motion like you're out of here, and then he did it over and over and over again while De La Rosa looked at him.
Well, he was out of the game one way or another.
Yeah.
Just got to take it out of the game by 2 people, the umpire and his manager.
Watch Nelson. Yeah, he threw him out. His manager's coming to get him anyway, so. So De La Rosa hands the ball to Weiss and then has his choice of words back at the umpire Nelson. Pitching change as Scott Oberg comes on to warm up for the Rockies. have 2 on with nobody out, and Jorge De La Rosa was ejected from the ball game. His manager Walt Weiss was coming out to get him anyway, and he had been De La Rosa had been barking at Jeff Nelson, not happy with his strike zone.
Well, just to let everyone know at home, I have my secret strike zone up here that I watch.
Yeah.
All 4 of those pitches were balls. So he was barking, but he had nothing to bark about. That was a legitimate walk of Cervelli.
Pedro Alvarez takes strike 1 from Oberg. So Oberg was hung with the loss on Friday night. He came out of the bullpen in a tie game and gave up 2 runs.
Ugly numbers right there. He's giving up more hits than innings pitched. 21 base on balls in 46 innings. ERA pushing 6.
Alvarez coming off the bench, hitting for Michael Morse. Ramirez at second base, Cervelli at first. That's strike 2.
Guess I should have told everybody I have a strike zone up there. Huh?
Well, you do.
Because now they know when I say, oh, I think that ball might have been a little outside. They know that I already know.
Well, Bob has a screen dedicated to it up here. It's neat, though, because I kind of sometimes get caught looking over there to see.
I know you do.
If the pitch was questionable or not.
That's the screen I get on 24/7.
And Pedro comes up and strikes out.
And that was in the zone, the high part of the strike zone, as you can tell. Still a strike, though.
Well, he challenged Alvarez. Pedro swung underneath it. Josh is 0 for 2. Harrison struck out in the second inning, and he lined out to Paulson at first in the 5th. Only 4 hits for the Pirates this afternoon. Oberg delivers up high, and it's 2-0. Remember, he came out of the bullpen, as I mentioned earlier, Friday. He struck out the first man, which was Neil Walker. Then he walked Cervelli and Alvarez. And Rodriguez came up to pinch run. And Neil Walker lurking in the dugout. He'll perhaps be used soon as a pinch hitter. Josh fouls this one a long way down the right side. Runners in scoring position. Harrison hitting .294 this year. Two on, 1 out. And a ground ball left side. Descalso throws across his body to first base and gets Harrison.
He's made some fine plays short this afternoon. I kind of thought he would go to third with this ball. It would have been a much easier play.
It's right in front of him.
Yeah, you have Aramis running, who's rather slow-footed. You see Blackman backpedaling to the back. I know it's Arenado. I did that on purpose.
Second and third for the first time today for the Pirates. Jordy Mercer is 2 for 2. Strike 1. Rockies bullpen with the highest ERA in the National League. Has for the most part this season been their downfall. And fouled away. 1-2, middle. Those pitches are going to get hit like that eventually.
Yeah, if you throw too many of them, you can't make a living there. You can get away with something there occasionally, but you can't stay there too long.
Walker is in the on-deck circle. Two on, two out. And the 1-2 to Jordy. Jordy trying to make this day nicer by driving in a few runs here. Strikes out. Ball is away from the catcher. And the throw down by Garneau, and that's the inning. Pirates leave 2. On to the 8th. The Clint Hurdles Club down 5-0. Grand slam, 3-run homer at Lamity Stadium. And Andrew sent out this tweet earlier. Congrats, Lewisberry, PA, on advancing to the championship game in Williamsport. Win it for PA, but most importantly, win it for USA. And you can't go into a clubhouse in Major League Baseball and not see that event on television.
A lot of the guys have been in it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not absolutely, to the championship game, but just about every one of them at some point has got to take some kind of a run at it.
Alvarez remains in the game at first. Ben Paulson, the Rockies first baseman, at the plate, takes the ball from Antonio Bastardo. Paulson 2 for 3. 2-run triple in the 4th inning. Such a great event, and it's also great this year because they've got a Pennsylvania representative representing the United States in the title game. And up big early. They went down 2-0 to Japan, as Danny told us, but then their bats went to work. You never know what can happen in one inning.
Yeah, a lot of work to do. They got a good closer.
Yeah, I don't know who works the 6th inning for them. 6-inning games.
I hope their starter can keep his pitch count down.
I think they do have a pitch count rule down there.
Doubt
it. 3-1 to Paulson. And he walks. Leadoff man is given the free pass. Playing fantasy baseball, MLB.TV serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.TV today. You want to have it. If you don't have it, you want to have it for this last month of the season for sure. Keep up on the pennant races and the chase in the Central. Pirates still with a very legit chance against the Cardinals, trailing by just 3.5 games. Still 6 games head-to-head with St. Louis. If the Pirates can put together a good month, they're going to be right there.
You'd really like to cut a couple games off that lead before we get to St. Louis.
Brandon Barnes tries to bunt and misses.
It won't be easy to do. But 3.5 at the start of today. It'd be great going in there. Maybe 1.5.
That'd be super.
But need a little help. We need to pull off a huge comeback here.
And a strike to Barnes. No balls, 2 strikes.
But at least our fate is in our own hands at this point.
As players, I guess you talk to them. They're aware of what's going on with the other ball games around the league and the division, but you can only worry about yourself and your team and what you guys are doing on a certain day. You can't win 2 games in a day. You got to win the one you have. Can't worry about
unless it's the 15th.
Well, the 15th, yeah, you should win. Hopefully, you can win 2 games on September 15th. In case you missed it, it was announced earlier today the Pirates and Cubs will make up that rainout from the 3rd of August on the 15th of September with a split doubleheader. 1:35 the first game, and then second game at 7:05.
Telling by that time, a couple weeks from now, what will be the importance of those 2 games?
Barnes down on strikes. One out and one on. Bastardo facing Descalso, who was intentionally walked in the 6th and scored a run on Charlie Morton's error. Pirates certainly know they need to play better against their own division, but it's just whoever they're playing that day. That's the way they have to look at it from now on. 21 and 29, 8 games below 500 against the Central.
Well, it got off to that bad start in April, and most of that was against the Central Division. Kind of the second year in a row, really, dug a hole that been trying to dig out of the rest of the season. That Central Division early on in the year, I mean, those games are always huge. You kind of, when things do get off to a bad start, you kind of rationalize it a little bit, saying, "Oh, there's plenty of time left, and it doesn't mean anything this time of year." Well, now you can look back and see exactly what it does mean. Those are crucial games that you play early on against your own division. You have to at least hold your own. Stay out of that deep hole.
Two and two to the shortstop to Scalzo. One out and one on in the top of the 8th inning. Rockies up 5-0. Bastardo's 2-2 delivery. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. That's 5 strikeouts for Bastardo and a new season high. He had struck out 4 against the Mets in New York on the 16th of August, but struck out the side in the 7th. Now he's got 2 here in the 8th after a leadoff walk.
And we talk a lot about his fastball, the way it plays with much more velocity than the actual reading shows. But his 93-mile-an-hour fastball gets the same reaction from hitters that somebody throwing 98. Have a hard time catching up with it.
And Garneau, the catcher, pops this one up right side of the infield. Jay Hay under it. Harrison makes the catch, nothing across after the leadoff walk. Go to the bottom of the 8th, 5-0 Colorado. And it is time now for our Data Strong fan photo of the game, brought to you by T-Mobile. See what we have for you today. Well, there's Dad teaching son using the tee, a T-ball, and they're Pirates. Thanks to Toff Tweets.
Looks like his teeth didn't hit the other way. Yeah. Pointing out to the right center field gap.
They must have been shifted the other way for him.
Yeah, he's trying to beat the shift there.
So Neil Walker comes to the plate. Walt Weiss won't even let Oberg throw a pitch to him, and he's going to make a pitching change. So he had Oberg come out, and now he's going to bring on a left-hander, Christian Friedrich. So pitching change, timeout as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. As the pitching change precipitated the break, here is Christian Friedrich, 27-year-old left-hander out of Evanston, Illinois. He will take over for Oberg, who won an inning, struck out 2. And Friedrich, the left-hander, will face Neil Walker, who had to go get his right-handed helmet, and will bat right-handed against the lefty Friedrich. Team high 56th appearance for Friedrich. Used quite a bit. 4.76 ERA. A 1-0 pitch to Walker. Fouls it off. 1 ball and 1 strike. Neal's first plate appearance today, batting in the 9 spot. And trying to get on base. Pirates need some base runners, need some action. Pulled foul, had the distance, but just yanked too far to the left. One and 2 to Walker. Friedrich pitched in all 3 games in Atlanta earlier in the week. This is his first appearance here against the Pirates. That one's into the Pirate dugout. Friedrich hadn't allowed a home run as a reliever in 34 games until June 1st. The Dodgers' Jock Peterson got him for one. And Walker hits it down the right field side out of play. Clint found the young lady in the front row. That was 2 foul balls ago from Neal.
Got 2 of them now, it looks like. Maybe the other ball might be the one with the grips on it.
Maybe. But we saw her get one hand delivered from the skipper.
Sitting there with the glove, she's ready for another one.
Two-2 pitch. It's in the air to center field. Play ball for Blackman. 1 out. They're underway in San Francisco. The Cardinals have jumped all over the Giants in the first inning, 3-0.
Just now looked out and saw that. Wow.
Sorry to be the bearer of
not good news there. Still hitting. Still hitting. They got a man on first and nobody out.
Matt Carpenter with a home run.
Must not be hitting leadoff. Well, maybe he is.
Maybe he is.
Done a solo shot, I guess, and they added on after that.
Oh, 1 pitch to Polanco. And a high chopper over the mound. Gregory can run to Scalzo with a quick play to get it. Scalzo's made some terrific plays at shortstop today.
Yeah, no time here. Look how quick he had that exchange ball out of his glove. He only took about maybe about a step and a half before he got rid of the ball. It was on its way. That was pretty work. Nice accurate throw.
And here is Starling Marte. Marte skies this one to right field. And Gonzalez there. Oh, he dropped it. He dropped it. And Marte safe at second. Carlos Gonzalez drops a routine fly ball that would have ended the inning. Wow. Take a picture of that. Mark down the date and time.
About that. Little leaguers at home. Use two hands.
Marte out of the box running anyway. And then
I see. Kind of giving it just, okay, I'm upset. Popped up. But he's so fast, it didn't make any difference. Still easily got to second. It's the second pop fly they've dropped, isn't it?
In 2 days, yep. So Walt Weiss has to make another pitching change. We are back in a moment. Of the 8th. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Well, this inning should have been in the books, but Carlos Gonzalez dropped a routine fly ball, the second routine fly ball the Rockies have dropped in this series. That opens the door a little bit, just a crack anyway, as Andrew McCutchen comes up for the 4th time with a man in scoring position. Marte now at second base.
Must be that spot out there. I think, wasn't that where LeMahieu was kind of out shallow right center when he dropped his?
Yeah, that was on Friday night.
There it is. No, it wasn't in right center. It was pretty much dead center. Same thing. It just popped right out of the glove.
And now the pitcher, Jairo Diaz, taking over for Christian Friedrich. Friedrich 2/3 of an inning. All zeros. He's responsible for Marte at second base. Just the 5th appearance for Diaz. See if McCutchen can make this game more interesting. They have much love for Kutch. They'll have even more if he hits one out of the yard here. 2-0 from Diaz. 98 miles an hour.
'98 and up and in. The double whammy. The velocity and location.
And up high. 3-1 now to McCutchen. Pitch hits this one to left field toward the corner. And over there to get it is Barnes. And the Rockies survive the inning in spite of the dropped fly ball by Gonzalez. After today's game, the Pirates are on the road again for a long stretch of away games, starting with a 3-game series in Milwaukee. Catch the first of this series Tuesday, starting at 7:30 with Pirates pregame. Presented by WB Mason on Root Sports. Garrett Cole will pitch against Jimmy Nelson in Game 1. Josh Harrison moves from second base out to left field. Neil Walker stays in the game. He goes to second base. And the new pitcher for the Pirates is Joe Blanton.
How about those numbers there? Joe's time as a Pirates, but just phenomenal. 17 in the third innings of work, 23 strikeouts. Man,
he's been terrific.
Just 5 walks.
Maybe his appearance can bring the Pirates some luck offensively in the bottom of the ninth.
The opponent batting average, he's not giving up any hits either. Just been way better than you could ever expect when you acquire somebody for a little bit of late season help. Amazing.
We're waiting on the hitter Matt McBride, who will pinch hit in the 9th spot for Colorado. Blanton's first pitch of the ball game is popped up right side. Pedro got a handle on this one. There's one gone. 1 pitch, 1 out for Blanton. Nice way to start your outing. Now he'll face Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon 2 for 4. Pirates infield will move around to the right. .289 the average for Blackmon, having a pretty good season. Charlie's Beard having a terrific season as well. Fouls it back for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. The Yankees today against Atlanta. The Braves really struggling. The Yankees now leading 16-5 in the 7th inning.
It seemed like there's been an awful lot of teams scoring lately up in the teens.
Yeah. Yesterday 15 runs for Toronto. Blue Jays failed today. Failed to get double-digit runs. They still won 9-2 over Detroit.
There's some ERAs taking some big hits around baseball.
Ground ball toward the middle. Mercer handling it. 2 down.
Got past Arenado.
Well, we told you about the Cardinals with a 3-0 lead over San Francisco. Bottom of the first. The Giants have put up 2 quick runs. It's 3-2. They're still in the first. That game could be a dogfight today.
Yeah, I like that. There we go. Anyway, Giants. You know, the Giants, they're battling for their playoff lives. It doesn't look to be a wild card solution for them. They're going to have to catch those Dodgers.
They're 3.5 behind the Dodgers. Starting action today. And they have the Dodgers 3 straight right after the weekend. They'll go head-to-head against Los Angeles. 6 games remaining between the Giants and the Dodgers.
They're kind of in the same boat as we are with the Cardinals, except they don't have a plan B.
DJ LeMahieu, the 1-1. Ground ball to short. And Mercer throws on to first. A little high, but Pedro with a tag. And a 1-2-3, top of the 9th inning. Last wraps for the Bucks. Bland retires the side in order. Ramirez will lead off.
They'll face a former teammate, John Axford, who spent about a month or so here last season in a Pirates uniform, who experienced one of the scariest moments of his entire life this past spring training out in Arizona at the Rockies spring training facility. He was home, and his son Jameson was bitten by a rattlesnake at just 2 years of age, had to undergo multiple surgeries, and I had a chance to speak with him a couple nights ago. And the news is good. Jameson is now 3 years old. He's able to get up and walk around and move like a normal 3-year-old walks. However, he will be required to undergo one more surgery for the anterior tibialis in his right ankle area. And that is the part of the ankle that allows you to lift up your foot. So he's dealing with a little bit of a unique walk right now. But once that surgery is completed, Axford tells me he seems like everything's going to be okay. But imagine being at the facility and getting that call from your wife saying your son was bit by a rattlesnake. One of the scariest things. And we're happy to report that little Jameson Tim is doing better.
Yeah, good for him. That's something you wouldn't want to wish on anybody. That is
for
just bad.
A 2-year-old. Wow. What a,
yeah. Remember in March we heard the
phone
story.
Call to get.
You know, we heard the story about it during spring training, and your jaw hits the floor. You're saying, "Are you kidding me? Really?" And it just felt real bad for John and his family, and especially Jameson. But a little bit of time's going by. Looks like things are going to be okay. So, John Axford facing Ramos Ramirez. Strike one delivered. Pirates down to their final 3 outs in this one. And they have been stymied by Rockies pitching really for the first time in a long time, the Rockies staff, especially the bullpen, has been beaten up this year, but not today. There you go. There's a different look on the water.
That's got to be pretty difficult, what do you think, to control something like that? I've watched that before, and it just amazes me how they can. That would be me right there. I'd go right to the bottom of the river. Be like a jet drive submarine.
Oh boy. I hadn't seen one of those out here in a while. Ramirez and Axford, former teammates in Milwaukee for a bit. 2 for 8 against him. And a hot shot down to first base. And Ben Paulson has played a flawless first base today. He's had some difficult plays. He's made every one of them.
Nice job on it. Smoker over there.
So the month of August for the Pirates rapidly coming to a close. And tomorrow again a travel day, September 1st. Tuesday there'll be some news on some call-ups as the rosters expand on Tuesday. Doesn't mean you have to bring everybody up right away, but there will be some different bodies in the clubhouse in Milwaukee. There's a ground ball to second base, and now 1 out to go for John Axford. And Pedro Alvarez coming up. Only 4 hits for the Bucks today. They've all been spread out. A single in the first, a single in the third, a single in the fifth, and a double in the seventh. Only hits in odd-numbered innings today. So at the next out, that'll end a string of 7 straight losses in Pittsburgh for the Rockies. Strike 1 to Pedro. Oh, 1 pitch to Alvarez from John Axford. Pitch inside. Axford had good success with the Brewers at one point, supplanting Trevor Hoffman as their closer a handful of years back. 1-1 delivery. And this one is popped up out of play. Axford's also pitched for the Cardinals. The Buccos now in Colorado. He was a younger player. He was a bartender in the offseason. Said he made more money as a bartender one year than he did in baseball. 1-2 to Pedro. Swings and strikes out, and that's the ball game. The Pirates lose this one. A lackluster game today for the Bucks as they drop a 5-0 decision to the last place Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, this was a very tough one today. Offense just never got going. Just 4 hits on the day. Could have played a little bit better defensively. A couple of errors out there. Not a good game.
Well, 20 games in 20 days. Time to recharge the batteries a little bit and start anew on Tuesday in Milwaukee as the Pirates will begin a Central Division road trip against the Brewers, Cardinals, and the Reds. So the Bucks now 79 and 50 after this 5-0 loss today to the Colorado Rockies. Let's go over to Dan Potash and Kent Tekulve.
Well, the Pirates' dominance against the Western Division put on hold this afternoon. They still take the series, but fall this afternoon by a score of 5-1. It's nice as a sweep. Their 14th sweep of the season would have been. Again, you have to remember, they did take the series.
They did take the series, and Dan, they've won 5 out of their last 7 ball games. So in the last week, they've won 5 games out of the 7 they played. You never want to get upset about that. You want to go ahead, that's a good week when you win 5 out of 7. Move forward, take the day off tomorrow. As Tim said, recharge the batteries a little bit, and guess what? Next time we play, it's September. The pennant race is officially on.
Another reason why the Pirates were blanked 5-0 this afternoon. Jorge De La Rosa, as we promised you earlier today, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Life. And Tiki entered the game 4-3 in 9 career starts with a decent ERA against the Pirates, and I guess we saw why today.
Yeah, De La Rosa, we've seen a lot of left-handed starters. He'll be the last one, 5 out of the last 6 games. But De La Rosa, the difference between him and the other ones we saw, this is a veteran guy. He's been around a long time. He knows how to work hitters. He knows how to use what he has. It's not overpowering. It's not, the best stuff in the world, but it's surely not the worst. And he did a very, very good job this afternoon of keeping the Pirate hitters off balance, keeping them from getting any kind of rhythm or timing as far as going forward and hitting the pitches that he was throwing up there.
All right, we are just getting warmed up here on Pirates Postgame presented by Allegheny Health Network. We, of course, will have postgame reaction from the Pirates clubhouse. You'll hear from manager Clint Hurdle. We'll have analysis, Ask Teak, an update on A.J. Burnett, and a very unique Ice Bucket Challenge. All that and much more coming up live from PNC Park on Root Sports.